The year we are discussing right now is 2024-2025. The last audited report's 2019. Look at the difference that is there, even if we were to look at the argument that we need to look at the last audited reports. And as much as we want to look at a futuristic way that allow the Office of the Auditor General and allow Parliament to be able to hasten this process, I also agree with your sentiments. There is a paper budget and a real budget. And if we were to be basing percentages on 2019, those are paper percentages, because the real percentages are the fact that there is inflation, the fact that the amount and the reports and the amount of revenue for both national and county is way higher than what it is. But the first summit meeting, constitutional meeting between ourselves and the President, there was an assertion from the summit that the amounts of money that were meant for contribution in lieu of rates were meant to be considered. Today, as we are speaking, contribution in lieu of rates, Chair, are nowhere to appear in the budget policy statement, and we wonder whether it is Treasury that has disregarded the directive that Summit gave, or it is Treasury that has disregarded the fact that it is the National Assembly is the body that can be able to pass this, and we are asking that the National Assembly does include in the budget policy statement the contribution in lieu of rates.
So for the ECD sector, there is not a single cent that is factored in this budget. And yet, we have to pay for them. For the health, every other governor, the nightmare of any county is the inability to service equipment, inability to buy drugs to make sure that people are provided with those resources.
If you were to look at the figures that we are talking about, last month or 2 months ago, IGRTC, and we hope that the relevant committee within the National Assembly will have an opportunity to also interrogate, because this is just one of the institutions under our legal regime in Kenya. The IGRTC, the Governmental Relations Technical Committee, did an assessment, and in their draft report that was presented to the Council, it identified that under the current constitutional dispensation, there are functions that were devolved to counties that are still being held by either government ministries, regional authorities, or parastatals. When they costed, they came up with a figure in their draft report of 262 billion, being the cost of the functions that are being done by national government agencies, authorities, and ministries that should have gone to counties. If we were to be very honest as a country today, maybe that is where we need to start. Because if you look at that figure, it would sort out the difficulty that we are having and the discussion that we are having today.
And we are not asking for extra money from nowhere. If you look at the functions that are devolved by the Constitution, which include health and agriculture, if you look at their budgets, a lot of money is being left in the ministries that is supposed to be going to the devolved functions, because money or resources are supposed to follow functions. For instance, in health, all the 47 counties of Kenya, their total budget is 110 billion for the 47 counties for health. The ministry, on the other hand, this year is retaining 147 billion at MOH, which is way above all the 47 counties combined. And remember, the only hospital facilities that are under the national government is about 6, which is level 5. think, Mathari Hospital. All the other facilities in Kenya under the county government to provide the personnel, to provide medicine, to provide equipment, to provide everything else. And therefore we are asking if you look into the details of the budget of the ministry, it will be possible for you to see what can be cutted away to the county governments to increase. By the way, even if you took away what we are asking, just the extra, I think we are asking for, from what CRA has given and what we are asking for, it's almost 49. So even if you took away 47 from the health and still leave them with 100 billion, it will still be okay. On the issue of what we have been proposed, what has been proposed to be allocated by the CRA, which is 401, and Treasury, which is 391, the law is very clear, Chair. What is embedded in the law is 15%. And when I look at the trend that has been read here by the Chair, the percentage has been coming down. And we will really be in a very awkward position if our government of Kenya Kwanza is the one that is going to break the law, which has not been broken by the previous governments that we so much at one point maybe demonized. 13.2% will see Omtata and other Omtatas go straight to court and block that budget policy statement. Take us to 15% at least. Even what we have proposed today, which is the 439 billion, it translates to 14.9%. For 50 will take us way beyond 15%. And that is going to be a win-win situation for everybody. We cannot be having all the resources for agriculture being domiciled in the ministry. I do not want to go into the details of what sometimes we see in terms of duplicated roles by the ministry to what is being done by counties, but we find no benefit, for example, in the Ministry of Agriculture employing agriculture extension workers that has, like it has been proposed to send to counties. Recently, there's also been a proposal by the Ministry of Health to employ liaison officers to coordinate the activities of community health promoters. Community health promoters have been in existence since devolution. It's something that now we decided to enhance so that we can have a platform that is shared between county and national government.
We feel that it's actually going to impede service delivery. A lot of the counties are already struggling with their development to recurrent ratio. It's going to make it worse. And we honestly feel that given the absolute increase in the overall revenue at 376 billion, it's not equitable. It is not fair to give counties an increase of 5.7 billion shillings. The question of debt, interest payments on debt has perennially been used by National Treasury to explain why counties are not getting a growth or sufficiently proportionate growth in their revenues. And you know, I don't want to delve into the questions of how we manage our debt as a country and the issues around it, and the politics of that. But in a sense, we see that that is a way of national government front-loading its expenditure out of the shareable revenue, and there is no equitable formula for sharing that debt, really. And this is why a lot of counties feel that what is equitable is the equitable share. The suggested increase for counties is actually 5.7 billion, up from 385 last year. If you divide that by the 47 counties, it's actually an average increase of 121 million, thereabout, per county. Of course, some counties will get slightly more, and others will get much less because of the county allocation of revenue, or the horizontal division. There's a formula. But taking the average of 121 for the average county, the average increase in costs as a result of the items that are listed here is actually in the region of about 600 million.
In the fulfillment of the current budget, we have seen one thing that is coming up very strongly, that there is the budget that we make, and the CS comes to Parliament and gives highlights. That is the budget I'm calling 4.143. That one is a theoretical budget. In an ideal situation, that is the budget. In the practical situation, that is an ideal budget. The real budget, as you have seen as governors, is the exchequer. Whether we like it or not, the real budget is you touching the money which is written on the budget. So the reason why we have taken a strategy of not being too ambitious in terms of budgeting for national government is because we don't want to be rosy in terms of figures, but then fall short when it comes to implementation. The monies we expect are the monies we collect as taxes, the monies we borrow, and the monies we receive as grants, and nay. There is no other money. So, and I'm saying this because the whole of this week, we have had 20 meetings with departmental committees. And every chairman who sat here, I found none telling us, please, you give us more money, please cut. Everyone, you have given us very little money. It's not actually us, because the proposal we are debating has come from the National Treasury. But that is just to show there is the will to serve across, but then there is a constraint, which is resources.